Namaste and welcome to the webinar with ILONA SEKLE, myself, about the Living from Vision course, and I want to give you tips today about how to manifest, how to set goals effectively and get results in your life. First of all, I hope that you've read my book, Living in a Holographic Universe, that I offered free of charge as an ebook. So today I will give you tips and practical ideas as to how to manifest, how to create, and how to set goals effectively. I will also guide you through right-brained exercises, so get prepared for internal exercises, because after all, our left brain and our book knowledge is only half the knowledge. So, as you see in the picture here, we all need to set our vision on something in order to move forward. If we don't, we will be pretty much like leaves in the wind, and we will be swayed on behalf of our subconscious, usually, or advertisement, social imprints, and expectations by family and friends. Now, if you wish to make a difference in your own life, you will need to take some time to reflect, sit back, and choose. Now, this is true whether you choose internal goals like personal evolution, happiness, enlightenment, whatever it is that you wish to experience. It is up to you. The goal can be an external goal. It can be having a car, a home, a certain amount of income, the business that you want to improve, or the independence that you want. Whatever it is, it requires that you make a choice first and set your goal on something. Today I will take us a little bit deeper than just goal setting. We will go into feeling into our deeper values, because when we are true to what is really important to us, the choices that we'll make will be that much more powerful and passionate, and when we arrive at our destination, we will actually experience fulfillment. You know, all too often people think that happiness comes from having a six-figure income, a seven-figure income. And yes, of course, that does give you a certain amount of freedom and lifestyle choices. But fundamentally, your ability to enjoy life does not depend on the amount of money you have. It depends on your ability to reflect, to become conscious of your beingness. And so we will address two halves of those points in this talk today. One, how to set goals effectively, and I'll go step by step through some of that, so you can go and set your own goals effectively and get results, as well as going a step deeper into how to create miraculous changes in your lives and what that takes. So let me go to the next quote that I would like to introduce you to. It was by Brian Tracy, basically saying again, if you don't set your goals and make your choices, you will be living and working to make other people's dreams come true. So today I invite you to step back and take a moment in time for you and think or feel into what is truly important to you. And I will guide you through this, so you don't have to worry about it yet. Let's take step by step some points where I'll give you something for your left brain, a bone to chew on, something to go wow about, and then into your right brain where the magic happens. The Harvard study that was done in 1979 that you see here was about goal setting, and about 249 students were asked how many of them had goals. Now mind you, Harvard is a pretty prestigious university, and only 3% had defined, written down goals. 13% had goals and ideas as to what they wanted to do, but only 3% wrote them down, 3%. The remainder of the 84% just were going to see what was going to happen, just go out there and discover the world. 10 years later, they called all the people together and checked back on their lives and found out of the 249 or 45 that they initially interviewed, only 149 remained or were found, and the conclusion was the following. Of the 13% that did have goals but didn't write them down, they made double the income than the 84%. Now, Harvard students probably make a fairly good income, but to make double was already fairly impressive. Now, they had set goals, 13% of those 100%. The 3% had made 10 times the amount than all of the other people combined on average. Now, that is impressive. And if you too want to join the club of very effective people here on Earth, want to make changes that satisfy your inner or outer expectations, I would like to invite you to join the group of people that work from the inside out. It's a way of not working with effort, which is what some of these coaches have come to me to. They want to learn how to create effortlessly. And that is understanding that we live in a dreaming universe. And it doesn't require some kind of outrageous magic. It simply requires honing your focus and developing your own ability to reach into a higher dimension. And that I want to discuss with you today. In conclusion, we can definitely say people who have a vision and write the vision down will be multiple times more successful than people who have visions without writing the goals down, and way more successful than any of the people who do not have any goals or any visions. Early in my life, I discovered that that was true for me. And so when I was 16, I realized that I needed goals, not for me to be successful, but actually for me to be fulfilled. When I was just drifting around, things would come my way. And I'm sure you know this feeling. A phone call comes in, an email comes in, we are responding to whatever demands are put onto us, which is a good ability to have. But if that's how we want to live our lives, we will be constantly in reaction to demands put on us, and will rarely find the time to do the things that are important to us, or that we envision, or that we truly want to achieve. There is something magical in focusing. Focusing, whether monks in a monastery or in our modern way, hones our spirit and refines our ability to cut through what we would call the clutter of time-space. Our dreaming mind is what sets us apart. I remember decades ago, I went hiking into the forest in Washington, where we live on an island part of the time in the summer. We're snowbirds and we go with the sunshine. And here I am in Bali, in our secondary home in Ubud right now. And I'm still living there in the summertime on the island of Washington, north of Seattle. And I asked the trees, I said, what are we here for? And you know, you can communicate with nature. Some people may smirk at it, but I get pretty phenomenal results from communicating with the universe at large. And you know, the answer was humans are pretty much at the top of the dreaming mind. There are other beings on this planet, and I think cetaceans are one of them, that have the ability to be self-aware and intend. But humans are very much capable of dreaming up a choice and manifesting it. And that is the implicit meaning of what it is to be human. We dream. We are capable of traversing time, space, and bring into manifestation specific results. Now, we don't necessarily need to do that with hammers and nails, although it's a good skill to have. The primary one is being the architect that creates a blueprint. So let's look at the steps that I've written up here for you that we would like to go through step by step, and it's just 5 steps here, and then I'll take you through a guided imagery to internalize this. The first step, the first principle is dream big dreams. Dream big, that dreams that really make sense. Dream something that really makes you sing. Because when you pick something that really matters to you, you will give it your attention and energy voluntarily. If you dream that I should be clean and I should be cleaning up my home, it's probably not going to draw the excitement out of you as would a dream of I am free, I can create, whatever it is. I can be dependable, I am creative, whatever it is that you wish to be. So make your dream passionate and big. Now, of course, in the Living from Vision course, I also recommend that you take to have some smaller goals that you're passionate about, that when you get them, you know you got there. Because in the Living from Vision course, you train step by step how to manifest using the integration of your right and left brain. Learning the technique is the first step. What you put into your goals later on is then up to you. One of my first goals was, for example, to pay the taxes for the previous year by April 15th, to have enough money to go on vacation and swim with dolphins, and to create my first laptop. This was in 1990. And I wanted to also get a brochure done. So when all those 5 goals came through, I felt immediate feedback from the universe that I can do something. So whatever it is that you choose, I encourage you to pick something that you're passionate about. Now, the second principle is put your goals into writing. I remember that 1984, when I was in massage school in Boulder, Colorado, preparing to train in psychotherapy, I had gone through the training, and after a year and a half of training, they asked us to write our goals down as to what we were going to do with our skills. And my vision was, and I found this piece of paper 25 years to the day later, not to the day, but to the year. And it said, I wanted to create a retreat center, and I wanted to teach seminars at my retreat center, as well as share the stage with others who were going to be there. And I was going to offer massages, vegetarian food, and meditation. Now, for those that know me or have Googled whatever else I do in my life, we run a retreat center, my husband and I, in the North Shore of Bali. And we teach ourselves, and we have other people of like caliber come to Shangri-La and teach their groups at Shangri-La, having vegetarian food by the ocean. And of course, another dear subject that mattered a lot to me and that I developed side by side with the Living from Vision course were the dolphins. So where we live are also dolphins, so people go and live or see the dolphins and swim with them. So I had written this goal down 25 years ago, and I encourage you to do this. Write down whatever you do, maybe on an annual basis, and brainstorm whatever really matters to you. Dream big, write it down, pretend the universe can hear it, put it in a wish box, and look it up years later. You will be surprised how many, if not all, of your wishes will come true. Now, the third principle is that you choose goals not only in one direction, but like a star, we are made up of multiple areas in our lives that are important to us, that when they are in balance, we feel satisfied. That may have to do with where we live or how secure we feel. That means money, health, wealth, the basis. That may mean, and usually does mean, our personal evolution, how secure we are in ourselves. That may mean that I feel dependable, trustworthy, honest, that I feel I'm capable of being self-confident, that I look the way I want to look, that my exterior and my health and my image of myself all are in alignment. Next, once we are a strong being, we want to be able to relate. We want to have a primary relationship that reflects our deepest dream. Our soulmate, possibly, or our friendship circle that reflects the depth of our capacity. Honesty, intimacy, feeling heard, feeling seen, and being able to hear another and really be there for someone else is equally important to most of us humans. Now, that includes the larger family circle, and then it eventually will extend to our team. So I'm giving you hints right now, because for the next exercise that we'll do, I will ask you to reflect on the different areas of your life that you want to make sure that all the elements of your star rays are included. Included in that is then, once we feel established in the world, is of course primarily even our connection to the source, our soul awareness and our connection to a higher force. And to the degree that we feel connected to our soul awareness, as well as to the higher source beyond that, we will feel that there is a power behind our thoughts that will come to our aid and will make things come true. And I invite you, with the Living from Vision course, to discover this journey of self-realization, self-development. It's done in a psychological way. So no matter what your spiritual background is, you can do this self-development. You can develop your spiritual self in accordance with your religious background. But you can heighten that, and you will include that as part of your choices. Now, additionally, are considerations as to how am I contributing to the world at large around me. We all have the feeling that I don't want to live only selfishly. We oftentimes, depending also on our evolutionary capacity, have a vast need to share, to contribute to the betterment of mankind, either in small projects or in larger projects. It may be volunteering, helping some people in a non-paid way. It may be being a leader in your field, writing books, teaching, whatever it is, making contributions to the larger community. It may be research that you write about that may be a special accomplishment. That's the principle number 3. Principle number 4 is that probably is the most effective one. Is once you are clear on what you want and you've written down your goal, is that you enter in your subconscious and emotional body, mind, and spirit into the feeling fulfilled in advance. Now you can mark these words as probably the most important one. Imagine your success in advance. And be unwavering in the sense that it will come true the way you imagine it sooner or later. But it will. Now here in Bali, it's quite amazing. People have a very strong belief in a higher force. And you can apply this principle to health. That was one of the questions in the chat earlier. Or you can apply this to any goal that you want to manifest. Like somebody said, can I apply this to my health? So I remember a number of people here in Bali came to me with that question, Balinese people. And they asked me in Indonesian, I speak Indonesian here, how do I go about it? And I described to them the following. There was one lady, she brought me the black and white pictures from her endoscopy, and it looked terrible. And I didn't really want to see it, and I'm like going, okay, lady, let's sit down here. All right, so what do you want to feel like when you're healthy? Okay, so she settled down and it's like, okay, yeah. Innocuous enough of a question, how would it be if you were healthy? You don't have to actually be there now, you just imagine what it would feel like if it were true. And all of us were kids at one point and knew how to do that, so let's remember how to do that. If I were at the end result of where I was intending to be already now, how would you feel? And allow yourself the mini vacation of already arriving in your future. See, this universe is a dreaming universe, and you create a resonant field. Part of what you need to do is become clear so that the blueprint of the universe can rearrange the building blocks around you and create the house of your structure according to your plans. But this magic of how things realign themselves around your concepts of what you want, your thoughts, your energy, your feeling, that is the secret of the holographic universe. What we need to remember is be in the end result fulfilled. So this lady who I told to visualize herself and just 5 minutes a day in the morning and 5 minutes in the evening, imagine being there and feeling it and just reveling in the end result. I saw her later I can't remember exactly what it was, maybe 3 to 6 months later, and she had a clean bill of health. She had gotten so thin she couldn't absorb food anymore. And it was dire. It was quite a daring session I had with her because, you know, I knew she was Balinese and I knew she could pull in the leaf like most Westerners have to work at. However, the people who are at this stage of watching this webinar probably already have heard about the power of the imagination and or have already created parking lots and miracles for themselves through the imagination of the future in advance. So I believe that anybody watching this can create miracles, which is why I wrote those in my book, The Living in the Holographic Universe. So you get real life stories that tell you that it is possible. By sharing miracle stories to and with each other, we create a subculture of people who are accustomed to noticing that things just happen according to plan. And the more people and friends you have in your field that do that, the more you give yourself permission to do that. Now I do it, I have other friends who do that, I have pretty miraculous stories around me, and I invite you to become part of that clan of the miracle makers, to work miracles in your life as well as miracles for the larger world, and co-create a beautiful world, a beautiful earth to live on. The last principle is that you need to create a deeper sense of what you really want. Your goals have to be tied to a deeper sense of purpose. Now, some people, of course, want to experiment with, I just want the castle in the air. But I tell you, if you feel that a castle in the air is important to you and really represents your wish, you will get it. If somebody says, you know, I just want to have a castle in the air, and it feeds an ego part in them, they might have results. I'm not saying they won't, because clarity will create results. However, when you arrive at your destination, you want to make sure that your ladder is leaning against the correct building, that when you get out on the roof, you have the view that you really want to see. So choose from a deeper sense of purpose, which is what I'm going to guide us through in the imagery. So in summary, what I'm going to guide you through is, first of all, we've talked about left brain concepts of the principles important to create, making clear choices in all areas of your life, be passionate about them, dream bigger, and make sure you write the goals down. And then moving into the right brain, which is what we're going to do in a minute. Creating with the powerful magic of your larger mind, the hyper-conscious mind. First we go into imagery, but then we jump into the future. And the more you focus your mind, the more potent your laser-like mind attention will become to cut through the layers of time-space and find the end result, which already exists in all the parallel dimensions right now. And when you do that, you focus on arriving at the destination, and you will create yourself at that end result. Now, naturally, we will come up against some blockages. So in the Living from Vision course, we attend to the blockages regularly through a technique called Learning from Vision. We will go through the sensation of what is in the way of me getting to here and find out what it really wants to tell us and what it needs in order to be fulfilled. Because it's important that we listen to all parts of us. And then we can part the curtains and create miraculous outcome, whatever it is that you wish. And let me tell you out of experience, endurance and perseverance pay off. Keep your dreams, adjust course. I have worked at Living from Vision. I've worked with the materials of Living from Vision, been my own best student since 1990, and have been working with it constantly and regularly for 15 years, every single day. The results we have in our lives, and yes, we're living in 7-figure income levels, is because what really meant something to us, we stuck with us. It was sometimes to where we hardly made any money, but we stuck with our vision. until we figured out what it is that we had to do to make our dreams come true. The universe will give us whatever challenges, and we grow accordingly, and eventually our dreams will come true, provided you keep your sight on your goals. Now, one of my goals was to swim with dolphins, which is what I wrote about in my book, Wisdom of the Dolphins, which was later also termed Living in a Holographic Universe. And you got that book. So part of my journey and part of the learning that I came to, I experimented in relationship to dolphins and in relationship to creating a hyperdimensional ability to communicate telepathically with dolphins. And I saw that swimming with dolphins was a very good feedback system. Whatever I imagined became true. It sometimes took years for me to realize that the distance to which dolphins came to me had exactly to do with how close I felt comfortable with them coming to me. My husband was more fearless. They would come up right this close to him. He wasn't as worried about them smushing him. 3 meters, 9 feet long, bottlenose dolphins look very huge underwater. Male dolphins with a lot of zest for sexual drive, I had my respect for. And it took me years until they were swimming on top and below me. But I worked with subduing my sense of fear and trusting, which experience helped with, and allowing reality to come as close as I was comfortable letting it come in. Now, this is true for many of us in regards to relationship, in regards to income and money, in regards to renown. Because to whatever may look like a desirable goal, there is a flip side. There is something we will have to handle. People being so close that they can read every single thought of your inside. If you choose to have a soulmate, it's quite the experience. If you have anything to hide, forget it. So you have to learn to be that transparent. And the more transparent you're willing to become, the more capable you're able to endure intimacy. And enduring the incredible closeness of dolphins was something I practiced. And I realized that every vision I managed to hold for any length of time, usually just a few minutes, before swimming with dolphins, is what they reflected in reality in 3D. And so it became true for everything I ever imagined. And so I want to invite you on this journey of seeing your inner goals in 3D with your eyes closed. So although I will be showing beautiful imageries, let us get started. And you can go ahead and close your eyes and settle in wherever you are. And just take gentle breaths, noticing your feelings, thoughts, buzzing with facts maybe, and just allow yourself now to go on a little journey. And in your mind's eye, I'd like to invite you to go to a beautiful place, a place of peace. It can be a place where you have gone before, that you know from real life, or a place that you make up in your mind now. Whatever it is, just allow yourself to make it up, and for now, just pick one place. Of course, later on, we can switch to other places, but for today, pick one that you dive into and allow yourself a mini vacation. Which place would you like to choose? And imagine entering this magical place and noticing the feelings and colors that surround you as you enter deeper, right into the middle of this beautiful environment of your choice. touch the ground with your feet if you'd like, and feel the ground beneath you. What is it made of? And whether your mind jumps back and forth or is steadily already focused on one thing, just allow yourself to return over and over again to the place of your choice and notice the feeling that surrounds you. If you were in this beautiful place of peace, what would it feel like? And as you enter this place, notice the colors, the forms that surround you. And I'd like you to take a little review of your life right now and notice all the things that are going well. Maybe one thing, it may be a number of things, it may be a lot of things. Just think of one thing after another that's going well. What do you enjoy in your life right now? And then think of some areas of your life that are not going as well that you would like to see improvements in. This may be your physical life or aspects within your physical life. It may be in your emotional life or your spiritual life. What areas would you like to see improvements in? And now for a moment, I'd like you to think about moments in your life where you felt really happy, contented, and like, yeah, I really like this. I could do this all the time. Or just moments where you go like, oh my God, it's so beautiful to be alive. Just think of these moments in your life. Where were you? What were you doing? And what gave you this feeling of happiness, of fulfillment? Now, most people experience that greater sense of happiness when they are in a feeling of being aware, being a conscious being, of stepping out of the rat race, out of the doing mode, into awareness, into being. That might be on a beautiful walk, That might be in a moment of singing for yourself, sitting at a beach. That may be in moments of silence, of reverie, of drinking a cup of tea. Most people feel this when they become aware that they are more than their physical body, or no longer feel themselves identified as a form, but rather as an energy or a being or awareness. Now, when we experience ourselves as that, we step back out of the movie and become the one that is becoming aware that we're creating a movie. Now you can step back and create this sensation any time of the day you wish. I would like you to take this moment and go with me on a journey where you discover, first of all, that with your focal point, you create a laser-like focus and you enlarge your energy field so that you become really the transmitter of consciousness, of intention, into a larger time-space field. You become the radio signal into the universe, and around you, you will create a resonant field, like here in this image. And the more we calm our mind and become harmonized with the earth, the more potent our thoughts become, because we get the power of the electromagnetic field of the earth, which is around the Schumann frequency of 7.83 hertz, and we can utilize this electromagnetic field alongside with our laser light focus. So when you create a vision of what you want in stillness, aligned with the Earth's magnetic field, your potency becomes much larger. So let's go ahead and go on a little bit of a journey thinking about the areas of your life that you would like to create something. And for now, just pick one area, and I'll just suggest some areas to think about. How are you doing in your physical life? Your health, your strength, your looks, your sense of well-being. Maybe in the physical realm of your income or your environment in which you live. Or maybe you want to think about your sense of self-esteem, your sense of I can, your sense of being who you are, being your potential and living it, giving what you know is inside of you expression in the outside world. Or think about the kind of relationships you have or want to have. Your ethical capacity, your sense of belonging to a larger whole or conglomerate of beings that work together at something, a team, or your spiritual evolution. And I'll give you a couple minutes of silence right now for you to go into a journey and explore which of those areas you would like to create one goal that I'll walk you through into energizing. Which area would you like to choose for now? And if once you make your choice, later on, you can always choose any of the other areas in your life. In the Living from Vision course, we choose 4 goals in a 40-day time period. But for now, let's just go through one. Whatever you choose for now, it can be a quality, it can be an external manifestation, it can be a physical need or a spiritual or emotional need. I wish you really want to achieve, get better at, or manifest successfully. What it is you really want. And imagine that for a moment as if you could jump into a film ready-made where you already are living that way. Or imagine yourself experiencing the world around you exactly the way you would experience it if this wish had come true. Feel the feeling that you would have if you had already this wish fulfilled. And let it enter the center of your being for a moment in your imagination, in your pretending to be in that kind of reality already now. And in your dreaming mind, body, go into this fulfilled feeling and allow yourself to enter the time-space coordinates where that you is already existing now. And allow yourself to enter that space just for a moment and relish in that fulfilled feeling until you feel it all the way through all of your spine. You know, that center column of yours that says yes. And walk right into the center of that feeling and lock on into that experience for a moment. Yes. And notice how wonderful that feels, and allow that feeling of wonderfulness to pulsate through you. And feel it fill all your cells in your body. Notice the changes that would happen in your cellular level, down to your bones, in your DNA structure, in your emotional body, in your beliefs. And let the ripple effect of those changes go through you. You can do it. And as you allow yourself to occupy that time-space feeling in advance, and knowing this degree of completion, of fulfillment, of success is yours, because you can create it now and you will create it in the future. So as you emanate this sensation, just ask yourself, what image could best represent this feeling? Maybe a symbol, a color. That image, symbol, or a sensation flow through you. And this is something I'd like you to remember to do every single day, maybe for 5 minutes at least, on your own, until your dream has come true. And now comes the important step, is letting go. allow this sensation that is now imprinted within you as a resonant field do its own work. Your inner field is set to resonate. And tomorrow, when you come back to the sensation, you re-amplify it. You move yourself into that time-space coordinate where this reality is already true. Now, of course, in some of my books, I've written up some miraculous stories where I was able to move completely into a miraculous sensation of this is happening now, to when I opened my eyes, the physical world had rearranged itself. And there are quite some magical moments. When I really needed a miracle, I've created my miracles. And most of the time, I allowed time and space and emotions to adjust themselves to where I can receive my miraculous changes in a time frame that feels comfortable to me. Now, for most people, it's a process, and your ability to handle instantaneous manifestations depends a little bit on what you can tolerate. So have that as a thought to think about, is the ability and purity of your consciousness and your mind's focus. How fast do you want your thoughts to be manifest? Not all of us, or most humans, don't have that concentrated power or that pure of a mind that doesn't waver and jump back and forth. And so we kind of like a little time delay between our thoughts and what we say. Oh yeah, I meant that one, and no, I didn't really mean that one. You train your mind over time to become more pure, to become more positive, to become well-meaning, to say what you mean, to mean what you say, to focus on positive outcomes instead of reveling on the drama of what didn't happen. And you will start reiterating the things you want to see happen instead of pointing out everything that isn't happening. See, our daily life as a human is usually full of noticing what doesn't work. So it will take some time and intention to focus on what you really want, to say it, to think it, and to focus on it. But you will create it, and in time, your wishes will become stepping stones for you to approach your pure essence. I love the quote in the book written by MSI called Enlightenment. It was a commentation on the Yoga Sutras, originally written down or formulated by Patanjali in India. The commentary that was written by MSI commented on the value of wishes. And in there it said, and I love this part, you know, Patanjali never intended to describe yoga as a path of renunciation. It wasn't about eliminating things, but rather focusing on where you want to go. So each of our goals usually comes to us from a deeper level of within us that wants to express itself. And over time, I still apply the same tools of living from vision, but my steps have enlarged, increased in size, in luminosity, in intention and purity. So whether we create something small or increasingly larger, we will naturally choose the goals that are important for our growth at this point. So don't judge your goals, just make sure you're very passionate about them and that they are pertinent to something deeper within you, and that you really want to land in that outcome. And it will automatically take you on a journey of self-discovery into a greater universe of alignment with the highest source. So utilize the journey of manifestation as a journey of evolution, whether you apply this to finding your soulmate and dancing with angels on the inner realms and becoming highly telepathic or empathic, or having the ability to create and attract luminous souls around you, whether as a team or whether in a relationship one-on-one. We will increasingly reflect who we are in the world around us, in the choice of friends, beloveds, and partners, so that we start creating a matrix of who we are that resonates into our universe, into the world around us. Your home, your lifestyle, everything will come into harmony. I remember one of the teachers in Germany, she has been teaching actually the Living from Vision course since 1991, mentioned to me that for the first many years, actually she said 10 years, she always fell asleep on the guided imagery about her purpose in life. But eventually, the closer she came to really helping and wanting to help other people and being capable of being a strong person herself, the more she was able to stay awake in that guided imagery, and now she doesn't fall ever asleep on that, but rather radiates her purpose in life and has helped quite a number of people become very successful authors, stage people, teachers. We have people in Singapore who've been teaching this Living from Vision course since 2000, and actually I remember the CEO of a bank took the Living from Vision course with his son, not because he needed more money, but because he had lost his connection to his family, his connection to the people that he loved most. So he utilized the Living from Vision course to create the kind of communion, emotional connection that he wanted. You know, the star that I mentioned, the many lines that were made up of to create a whole, that prong, that part of us that needs to feel connected or needs to feel seen and loved and heard and being able to give love and share, that part had not been or had been neglected in his life. So when I came to Singapore and was invited to give a lecture there for about 100 people who were interested in doing the Living from Vision course, he had been invited as a testimonial person. And his son of 10 years old also took the stage at one point and shared how amazing it was for him to grow in his self-esteem and have his father come and play with him and be with him on his journey of growing up, and how satisfied he felt like he had his father back. And so the two sharing the stage was really touching, because it was applicable not only to people who wanted to do better in their lives and make more money or live their dream professionally, but who also wanted to have the kinds of relationships that they dreamt of. And same was true with an older woman who had started becoming a Living from Vision teacher in Sydney, north of Sydney, and in Newcastle. And she was teaching a group where a mom and her 15-year-old son attended. And the son had not been really talking with his mom, but she invited him to the course. And the first night, the mom wrote me a letter, and later on the son described his side of the story. First night after they came to the meeting, after 3 hours of going through the course, the son and the mother sat in the car until 1 o'clock in the morning and talked for the first time, because they were starting to share their inner selves and what really mattered to them, and what visions they had of their inner place of peace, and who they were really inside of, what stuff they were made up of. And later on, this child that was actually suicidal and had no desire to live became a supporter of of a benefit concert. He's learned to become a pianist and gave concerts, jazz piano concerts, to collect funds for a cancer fund drive that he was supporting. He shaved his head, and he developed having a vision in life. I just get goosebumps even talking about it now. He developed a vision of what he really wanted to do with his life, all by just taking 5 weeks, 40 days, to go into himself and find out what was important to him, what principles and values he had, what visions he had, and to learn how to pre-create the future in a fulfilled form in advance. So the teacher, incidentally, when I met her first, was a bit overweight, and one of her choices was to lose weight. And she, later on, I came back to Australia and we met, and I still have the picture. We both happened to be in orange, and she was slender, and people didn't recognize her. When she came to parties, people were like, "Is that you, Carol?" It was like, that's a different person now. So I had a teacher in Cologne teaching the Living from Vision course just as a weight loss management course, not by changing diet, but changing the internal image. So pre-creating all aspects, the sense of how fit they were, how they wanted to look, what kind of reactions they were getting, the feeling they were going to have in their body, and the scale was going to reflect to them, were all aspects that they chose to apply for their 4 goals that they used for the length of the 40 days of the study of the Living from Vision course. And on a daily basis, they visualized along with the guided imageries that we offer. It takes only about 12 minutes to practice every morning and 12 minutes about in the evening. And after 5 weeks, sometimes a little longer, sometimes a little less, they created their results. So when you start creating this magical matrix in the blueprint of your consciousness, and you manage to enter that sensation of pre-experiencing reality in advance around you, you start becoming a resonant field that creates a blueprint of energy and thought, of informational fields around you, which in turn will create the reality around you. Now, I was once lecturing at a Prophets Conference, one of the Prophets Conferences I was invited to. The astronaut Edgar Mitchell was sharing the stage, and I was in the audience listening to him. And he confirmed one of the things that I'd been saying all along, but it's nice to hear someone of that stature who had been participating in a think tank for years in America. And they were trying to figure out the matrix and nature of creation and the building blocks of matter. And you know what they found out and what he shared with us on stage? And I had shared it in writings and teachings. And I was so thrilled when I heard him say this. He said, consciousness creates gravity, or consciousness is gravity. Consciousness creates spin in the ethers, so to speak, and creates directional movement of the field, which then densifies into electromagnetic spectrums, into the chemical spectrums, into form. Now, with your consciousness, you cut through time and space, and the purer your focus, the further you can go into larger distances of the past and the future. Now, of course, the Living from Vision course teaches you step by step, but I just want to give you a couple of pointers that the extent to which you can evolve depend just on the vastness of your desire to become who you truly are, a vibrant focal point of consciousness of the universe to see through your eyes itself in action. So with that in mind, I want to invite you to become a crystalline structure here on Earth, and you can apply your vision not only to yourself, but to become a visionary for the world in which you live. Now, the Earth you live on is as much of a dream creation as is your personal life. So with all of us watching this, doing this work, we can create resonant fields around the planet in which we target the ship that we're floating through time-space into a beautiful coordinate of a peaceful environment, a loving, fulfilling life on what we call planet Earth. It is more like a plane, but the dream factor, the fabric of time-space that rearranges itself around us, depends on the conscious dreamers. All options are available. It might as well be a good one. So let's, you and me, dream of a positive future in which you are as enlightened as you wish to be, and in which you sit as the dreaming matrix, letting the universe co-create through and with you. Now, I'd like to offer you here today the opportunity to come onto a journey of empowering your soul awareness, your heightened state of consciousness that then creates reality around you and co-creates with many others here on our planet. According to the grid work of your light, in your life, you will create results. And you will be the radiant light for others to be a resonant dream matrix maker that collectively with others will create heaven on earth. These will be the people that will join you, that you will sit around with. They will become your reality because that is what you will emanate. What you're emanating now is your reality now. You can improve on it, and I hope we always will improve on whatever it is we already have. So I invite you on this journey of becoming a conscious dreamer. And to that end, I will make a special offer. Bringing that light here onto this planet and becoming a sacred guardian, I want to invite you to do the Living from Vision course. Take your 40 days to set yourself the goals you wish to have, and offer the online course for $100 off. Now, this very special offer I will only offer here right now. And when you click on the button here underneath or within, embedded or to the left or right, you will be offered the special price of $147 US. Normally, the Living from Vision online course, which will be always available to you, costs $245 US. You can have the whole course on DVD and more elaborately with pictures for $395 US. However, everything and all the steps are available on the online course and will be yours for a lifetime. We have people who repeat this course and have repeated it numerous times throughout the year, over 10 years, 15 years, and people write me that the times they redo and revisit the course are the happiest, fulfilled moments in their lives. Of course, we have apps. We go with guided imageries, we go with concepts, and with a whole brain package of training you to learn how to step out of a problem, how to transform problems, how to pre-experience success in advance, how to get in touch with your purpose in life, how to create effectively visions of your goals, and guide you how to find those goals, not just one. Today, I've given you a step through of how to create a choice and how to envision it, how to energize it. So go ahead and do this energizing of that goal once a day. And if you would like to have me at your side, sign up for the Living from Vision course. Buy the $147 special today. It is a giveaway. When we first did this in 1990, we paid double that amount when we took the course. As a bonus, when you sign up today, you will get my video tutorial. I will be there every single week. I'll talk to you, I'll write down tips, I'll point out what to look for, and be your cheerleader. I'll be your good genie. I'll encourage you on to stay on the ball. And I will love to hear from you. Tell me what magic you created. One of the women I know wanted to live like I did at the time, which was in Hawaii by a dolphin beach, swimming with dolphins nearly daily. And so my husband and I actually have 1,000 hours each swimming with dolphins, at least under our belt, so to speak. And she wanted to live like that. And she said, you know, I've done this Living from Vision course, and many of my goals have come true, except this one where I live just like you by the beach where dolphins are. And I envision myself under the palm trees. And she said, I've been doing this for a year, and that's the only thing that hasn't come true. So I took a look at her life, and I thought she had a 4-year-old and 17-year-old boy. And I realized by talking to her how much the boys were attached to each other. And I said, dear one, in 2 years' time, you will get your goal. Why? Because in 2 years, the little boy would be going to school, the large boy was going to have to go to social services in the country that they lived, a sort of substitute for a military service. And naturally, those two would have to part ways. See, when we create for ourselves, we create for the people in our field. Now, the goals that pertain to you and are your own, under your own volition, come easily. But the goals that imply other people may take a little bit of time, depending on how the field is. And when everything is woven together, just like my dream, 25 years later, I found myself in the seminar center that I had envisioned. The goals that I had set when I was younger had manifested around me. So do dream big. Set your mind to it. Envision it. The universe will deliver to you at the time when it is perfect for you and everybody. And so indeed, that one woman who had called me got her wish in 2 years' time. And now she's living at a beach, walking under the stars in a tropical world with palm trees above her and dolphins swimming by. So whatever goals you set, stay with them, visualize them, and imagine yourself in the future fulfilled. And if you'd like someone by your side, which I highly recommend, get this course today. Sign up with us and I'll be by your side. Thank you very much for listening to this presentation, and I hope you've learned a lot. And I will see you after you've signed up in video tutorials. Thank you. Namaste.